Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the situation with Hellblade 2 is in kind of dire circumstances. And what I mean by that is the game failed completely. It didn't really do anything on Game Pass in terms of, reaching a high number. I think it made it into the top 30, but that's not really saying much. The game never had really any players on Steam. So, unlike the situation with Starfield, people didn't run out and buy the game, and it looks like things are possibly going to lead to the game releasing on PlayStation. Now, that might not come as much of a shock given, sort of where we're at with everything in the world right now, and things kind of just being promised as quote unquote launch exclusives from Matt Booty. So, we'll see what happens. For me, anyway, I do feel like it's a weird situation where Xbox games are never going to be true exclusives again. So, again, we'll see what happens, but this is interesting nonetheless, as it's maybe kind of is a little bit unexpected, I guess. Game sales, particularly in Europe, were low, and even big games such as Hellblade 2 didn't reach the top 100. Think about that for a second. The top 100, right? I mean, you could sell probably 1,000 copies and make the top 100. So they really, really didn't sell anything. So last month, 7 years after the release of the original Hellblade, Hellblade 2 launched on Xbox and PC. The much-awaited sequel faced a long development journey that witnessed a sudden shift when Microsoft acquired Ninja Theory in 2018. It made a lot of people wonder if the game would be a Microsoft exclusive while it is available on PC. It seems the title is sailing through some troubled waters, with sales numbers projecting a not-so-bright future for the studio. No, in the current state and scenario of the gaming industry, sales numbers play a large role in determining the future of the studio, and several have closed down in recent times. Even those acquired by large corporations are not safe from this fate, a fact that has been really emphasized heavily since the start of last year. So, like when Matt Booty recently was talking about, why they closed Tango Gameworks and things like that, one of the things that was kind of talked about was, their leadership had kind of gone or whatever, right? So, again, the leadership at Ninja Theory left as well. So does that mean that this team has no hope? Like, it's rumored that they were really going to, kind of talk about this stuff before too long, but I mean, just because they say they greenlit something doesn't necessarily mean we'll ever actually see it. So, Hellblade 2 was one of Xbox's biggest launches. It received hardly any marketing, probably a way to make sure that they didn't lose more money on this. A lot of fans really talked about the game as well, stated they hadn't seen any or heard any marketing about the title, even when it was just weeks from launch. And the company may have thought, that fan appeal would carry the game, or that maybe the game was kind of niche anyway, and there was no need to market it to begin with. According to Christopher Dring, he says May was a brutal month for game sales in Europe, with fantastic games like System Shock Remake on consoles, Hellblade 2, and The Rogue Prince of Persia all missing out on the top 100. There are mitigating reasons, but the market remains challenged. Obviously, he revealed that May had been a bad month for the year when it came to sales as well. Said some fans obviously think Ninja Theory could be in trouble. I don't trust Microsoft at all, to be quite honest with you. I always think that we're in a situation where you cannot believe a thing that they say. So, again, we'll see what happens long term, but it is a weird situation nonetheless. Hellblade 2 was available at Game Pass at launch, which could explain some low sales. But, the recent revelation of how developers have to be careful when bringing their titles to Game Pass does not bode well for the studios. You had a game that was, like, by all counts, 6 to 7 hours long. And, a lot of people maybe weren't going to really try that. It's like you can get a Game Pass membership for free a lot of times, a trial membership. So, again, do I have high firm beliefs that Ninja Theory is safe? No, I actually don't. So the extent of which subscription services have kind of effect on these things isn't really 100% understood, but again, this could lead to them putting things on PlayStation. One would think studios acquired by Sony or Microsoft would be protected from layoffs and shutdowns, but clearly not the case, as Microsoft just announced 4 studio shutdowns recently. So the gaming industry is in a very precarious situation right now. People aren't spending their money as freely as before, and the rise of subscription services is partly to blame. Many have become kind of accustomed to seeing even new releases appear on these services and would rather wait for a title to appear on the service than purchase it when it releases. Now, the future of subscription services looks bright, but this may not be all that it's cracked up to be. Big studios can still benefit from the rise of these services, but it forces smaller and indie developers to agree to whatever terms the big companies state if they want their games on a marketable platform. So again, this is leading to a lot of people believing that, Hellblade 2 did not perform within specifications, maybe underperformed overall, and, it doesn't look good for anybody in general, So this is like a really, really bad situation to see. Maybe they'll close the studio. The fact that it really kind of failed to crack the top 100 in sales is pretty awful. So, like I said, this is pretty bad. Apparently a very tough month across the board. Older games like EA Sports, FC 24, and Grand Theft Auto 5 took the top 2 spots, while brand new releases like Hellblade 2 failed to even crack the top 100. In fact, the triple threat of Hellblade 2, System Shock, as I said earlier, and the Rogue Prince of Persia for PC all failed to make the top 100, although Xbox's Hellblade 2 is probably the most high profile of those. Of course, Hellblade 2 is the only one of these 3 the launch day 1 on Game Pass, leading to questions about how relevant the sales data is. Again, you can question that all day long if you want, but he responded to that saying that most Game Pass games still make the top 10. So somebody said, why would Hellblade be in the top 100 when it was on Game Pass? Is there a download score for it? I think every gamer knows a subscription service won't make sales charts like Ubisoft games, Netflix, etc. And Christopher Dring replied, most Game Pass games do make top 100. Starfield made the top 10. Given that the site doesn't provide all the data for the top 100, the whole thing is a bit vague, but again, it's safe to say that Hellblade 2 performed significantly worse than the 2023 Bethesda RPG Starfield, which is to be expected because it's kind of a niche title. So the top 10 were EA Sports FC 24, which I guess used to be FIFA, Grand Theft Auto 5, F1 24, Ghost of Tsushima, Director's Cut, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, Helldivers 2, Hogwarts Legacy, Red Dead Redemption 2, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. So again, is it the game? Is it bad? Like I said, I played it. I probably will never go around and get around to finishing it. It's a very visceral, loud game. A lot of kind of uneasiness, unnervingness to it. So again, this is leading a lot of speculation to they're going to have to port this game over to PlayStation in the future, which again, the first game was on PlayStation 4, it was on Xbox, it was on Switch, pretty much on everything, and it never did extremely well in my opinion. They ended up saying they had something like 5 million or 6 million quote-unquote players, because like I said, it did come to Game Pass or whatever, but again, I think people are going to have to kind of understand that this is a sort of a very niche product, and I don't think everybody is interested in it. Like I said, I gave it a chance even though I wasn't a big fan of the first, and I thought it was, it's a good looking game, almost like a showpiece for the Xbox Series X, but the game itself is just kind of a drag and not a fun game. It's like, I wish we would get fun games again, but the game just isn't fun to play through, in my opinion. So we'll see. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Thanks so much for watching. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer, out.